The topic two is the second topic is explain a model of human information processing by vegans, 1984, as given below, with the real-life example. Information processing model is the one method that can be used to consider how learning takes place. The model contains the four parts of the link together in the learning loop: decision making, interpret and input using its short and long-term 5-state of HIP model. The perception, receive incoming stimuli. Perception is referred to the process of decoding the meaning of the raw sensory data. Primary processes involved in perception. 1. Bottom-up feature analysis. Perception of feature of the raw stimuli when it's unfamiliar circumstance. Top-down processes. Perception of object based on expectation, association, and context. Even when the feature and target, the context effect refer to how much energy to change must be present in the stimuli for human or detect stimuli for change. 2. The concept of telecommunication and psychology. The concept is similar to signal-to-noise ratio used in science and conflict matrix used in artificial intelligence. It is also usable to align management, where it's important to support important event and background noise. 2. Is memory sensory storage. Temporarily store stimuli in the perception state, working and long-term memory assist with the decision-making process. Sensory process. Sensory organs gather in information and events from environment, machine, products, and so converting physical energy to electrical energy to the brain. Limitations of sensory organs affect perception and cognition. Short-term sensory store, or STSS, temporary storage of the representation of raw stimuli, about 0.56 virtual STSS to 2246. Short-term sensory storage. Short-term sensory storage, each sensory system appears to be equipped with a central mechanism that prolongs a representation of the physical stimuli for the short period of time after the stimulation has physically terminated. There are three general properties are characteristic of STSS. It is pre-attentive, that is no conscious attention is required to prolong the image during the natural time constant of the source. This is a relatively vertical, preserving most of the physical detail of the stimuli, i.e., it converts physical energy into neural impulse. It is rapidly decaying. Temporary storage mechanism or prolongs the stimulus presentation for a short time after the stimulus has crossed. Long-term memory or LTM. Information in working memory is transferred to long-term memory by semantically coding in the information. Learning is the process of storing information in long-term memory. Unlimited capacity. There are things stored in your brain and you cannot retrieve long-term memory. Semantic memory or memory for meaning. Episodic memory or memory of knowledge and specific events. Attentional research. The relative amount of cognition capacity devoted to particular state, attention, decision and response selection, core center processing, evaluation of alternatives, and select of an appropriate response. Decision to response selection, procedural decision making. However, it is the most frequently observed from the decision era observed, given the sheer number of procedural decisions made. 5. Response execution. The physical execution of response involving movement, response execution, speed accuracy trade-off. How does human information processing work? The central tenet of the information processing approach is the way the human can be characterized as an information processing system which encodes input, operates on the information, stores and retrieve from the memory, and produce output in terms of actions. The easiest way to explain information processing is through the student memory model that demonstrates it quite clear we are constantly processing huge amount of information, even when we think that we are doing nothing as we look around you. Might see grass, tree, buildings, and birds, and for you, the recognition, then you have to register this information will experience our environment and surrounding through 5 senses: vision, sound, smell, touch, and taste. This processing takes place in our sensory memory that lasts anywhere from milliseconds to a few seconds. As is enough to register the information, the next step is your short-term memory. You might see the stone on the ground, but you are probably not going to act on it as long as you don't want to kick it around, but some information grabs your attention and this selective information moves into your short-term memory. Maybe you see the mobile phone on the ground and decide to pick it up. Once information is in your short-term memory, it will stay there for about 20 to 30 seconds until it's either forgotten or moved to your long-term memory. Also, it's worth mentioning that short-term memory has limited capacity, and on average, people can keep about 7 pieces of information at any given time. That from the short-term memory, some information will be moved to a long-term memory through the process called coding. Information will be then stored in your long-term memory and retrieved and filtered through in the process called recall.